Junior want to not be on my I can't really see what did I miss. Ex-strippers.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, what time you're watching this. But yeah, if you are a follower and you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back and welcome. And if you're new, welcome times two. But yeah, do the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna be showing you today how I install my wigs, especially like a reinstall because like the lace is already cut. But for me, since I cut the lace like off of my head, not like how everybody does it like on TikTok, it doesn't really make a difference to me because the lace is already cut. But yeah, so hopefully I don't have to yap through this whole thing, but I'm just gonna like give some details of what I was doing, and it might end up being the entire time, so I am so sorry if that happens. But here we go. So I started off, I put I have like this old Maybelline palette, like it's a foundation. I put it on the wig cap because it matches, or of course it's not gonna match 100%, but it looks pretty much like my skin tone enough that it won't look crazy under the lace. So I went ahead and did that. And I always put the wig on my head before I start putting glue, so that way I'm not having to battle with the hairs getting stuck in the glue and all this stuff. It's just a long battle. So yeah, and what you saw back there was I always put 2 layers of the even lace spray because I just don't want to deal with like actual wig glue anymore. That's a lot of work. And then I could touch this up every day, and if I wanted to, I could take it off at night. And then cleaning it is so easy. You just got to run it under some water and boom, it's gone. But I always do the 2 layers, and then once that second layer is on, I give it some time and I make sure it gets tacky, and I start touching it and making sure I was seeing if it's tacky enough, because if it's not, it's just gonna slide back off and it's gonna be a huge mess. So it's easier to wait until it's tacky, and then you can start stamping it down. And see, I use the rat tail comb just to keep stamping it in, and sometimes you'll have to get a closer look just to be sure. So I always have this mirror behind me and it helps me see the back of my head. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll be back when I got something else to say. Just keep watching it for now. Okay, gosh, finally. Okay, so finally got this thing on my head. Yeah, I'm gonna clip it up so that I can put the elastic band on a little bit easier. Just after some experience, you'll realize you don't want that much stuff to be getting stuck anywhere or having to deal with things more than you have to. This is an old video, I will say, so I've gotten a lot better at installing my wigs a little bit faster too, and this was just not a really good day. I don't know why, it just was taking forever for me to put it on my head, or I was just being too much of a perfectionist. So yeah, it is what it is. It took a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And so I use this spritz. Some people use the spritz to actually stick it down, which is kind of crazy to me because it doesn't have that much of a hold, but it's good for like touching up the parts that end up being a little bit flaky or a little bit white, or even like small places that might be sticking up a little bit. But I always put that like a little bit, and then I also use it to get the hairs out of the glue, because sometimes it'll, like, once you put the elastic band on it, it might get a little bit stuck. And for whatever reason, the spritz doesn't make the glue lift, which is great, but it's really good for getting the hairs out. So I use that just to kind of touch it up. And then I always make sure to blow dry it a little bit more if I sprayed it a little bit too much, because I don't want it to start lifting, because it'll be wet and then it'll start mixing and then everything just starts lifting and then you're gonna go insane. And yeah, so I put a little bit of that same foundation on spots that are like a little bit like ashy or whatever. I kind of stopped doing that now, but you'll see once I post like newer wig installs, I kind of stopped doing that. And so yeah, this is when I first got my bigger curling wand, and that, what is that called? I'll put it on here on the screen what it's called. But the wand, yeah, I had just gotten that, and I've been using it a lot more now. Like, I always curl my hair a lot. You'll see that in newer videos. And I'm just kind of hot combing it down a little bit. I was in a hurry, like I was saying, so I didn't straighten it. Looking back on it now, I definitely should have straightened it, put some more time for that. But you know, it's okay. But at least it was flat, or I flattened it a little bit, somewhat. I ended up curling the front just to give it a little bit of, like, I don't know, make it look a little fancy, or not really fancy, just kind of put together a little bit. But you know, it's really not that bad, because it just looks like it's my natural hair that was like blown out, and I just haven't like flat ironed it a little bit. So, you know, for me personally, like, that's basically the reason why I don't do baby hairs. Plus it looks better, but I just like it to actually look natural. Like, nobody's ever gonna be like, oh, is that your hair? Or, you know, like, they just kind of assume. But yeah, it's giving biracial. But yeah, no, I definitely do a lot better now. I probably would not leave just like that. But yeah, it was good enough for the time being. I think I was going to eat and then go to the gym or something, so it wasn't too big of a deal. But yeah, it didn't turn out too bad. I hope y'all liked it. I hope it was informative enough. I'm also gonna post part 2, not really part 2, but like me actually curling this hair. But yeah, I couldn't get to do that now. But thank you so much for watching.